we're going to wrap up this series with a very long retouch. We're going to go from beginning to end, as I mentioned at the beginning of this. We're going to take one and we're going to fix every little problem that comes up along the way and try to enhance this photo as best we can. We're going to start by duplicating the background layer so we can always go back and see the original. So this is the untouched photo as it came out of the camera. So let's get to work. Let's go up top and start at the top and see what we're going to need to deal with. Well, of course, the eye situation. Let's go ahead and start there. Let's duplicate the image and switch to screen mode so we have the brighter version. Let's hold the Option key on Mac or the Alt key on PC and go ahead and bring the brighter version of it in here. Let's get our opacity up to 100% and let's do the eyes. And I know you've seen me do eyes 100 times, but you know, it's just that kind of important thing. I'm just going to do the whites of the eyes for right now, and then we'll go back and see if we can make the eye color more intense using some of the tricks that we learned earlier in this class. So get this kind of over here. There we go. And that all looks pretty good. Okay, now let's back off. I always recommend backing off. It's when it's that close, it's really hard to make a judgment whether you're backing off enough or too much. Let's take it down somewhere around here. Actually looks pretty good. Maybe a little too bright. Let's back off just a little bit. There we go. That looks pretty good. Now let's look at actually making her eye color a little bit more intense. Let's go to Levels. Bring out the Levels dialog box. This side brightens. This is the mid-tone control, and these are the shadows. So let's try to brighten the center a little bit, and then let's bring up a little contrast in the mid-tone so we have a little more vibrance in the eyes. Okay, so I brightened quite a bit, and then I, take a look, tweak the midtones just a little bit so we could get a little more contrast in the eyes. Press Command I on Mac or Control I on PC, and then let's zoom in nice and tight and see how our new color looks. Yep, it's a little brighter, a little more intense. It's not overwhelming or anything, right? Alright, now, but here's the thing. Now that we've kind of painted in here and we've got it the way we want it, we can always go back here and say, you know what, that's not intense enough. Do we want it darker, lighter, or do we want to go kind of a little bit lighter there, but bring up the shadows just a bit? See what that does. Maybe a little more highlights. Let's see. Well, that's pretty good. Let's back off and see how that looks. Oh, the eyes look good there. Let's just back it off just a little bit on the opacity so it's not quite so powerful. Ooh, nice. Okay, that's done. I'm going to merge that down, so I press Command E. All right, let's see what else we've got here. Of course, we've got the some skin smoothing things we're going to do. We can clean up a little bit of hair. Nose looks okay. Lips look like maybe that could be maybe enhance that a little bit. We've got some red skin here. We've got kind of a little overlap here. You can see part of her bra here, so we got to get rid of that. There's some of this stuff here, and there's there's like a bow in the back. We can't even see it, can you? Here, let's show you. There's a bow in the back here, but it just looks distracting, like what's this brown thing sticking out there? So just some little things to clean up here and there, some skin softening, some sharpening and stuff. Before we do any of that stuff, let's go ahead. We're going to remove the blemishes first, but she's also got some hot spots, so let's go ahead and deal with those, right? So let's create a new layer. Let's go ahead and get the rubber stamp tool. Let's switch the blend mode to darken. Set our opacity to 40%. Let's come over here, get a nice brush. Option click over here to sample this area, and then we're just going to lightly click or paint in this area just to remove some of those hot spots and still keep a lot of the texture. But look at that, it just takes that annoying shine right out. Still leaves us with our highlights. We have a little bit much maybe on the nose. I want to leave a little bit of highlight there, just a touch here and a touch there. I think we're pretty good. Maybe just that little bridge of the nose. There we go. So we've kind of got rid of those oily, hot looking spots right there. I'm going to merge those two together by pressing Command E. All right, now let's do some blemishes. Now, she has some freckles, so we don't really want to remove those. We just kind of want to go ahead and get some of the main ones here. So let's get the healing brush tool. Let's pick a nice clean spot, and let's just start clicking to get rid of some of these main ones here. And this is going to provide such a level of smoothing that we may not have to go too much further, but we will, just so you can see. We'll get that really, really, really soft skin. There we go. Oh, it looks pretty good, really. And now again, I could go really zoom in here and get every little single thing. It depends on how much time you want to spend. Now let's come down here and resample with this skin texture, because the skin texture here is a little different than the skin texture up here. So let's kind of keep our skin texture somewhat consistent. Alright, get those and just get the main ones, the little stragglers that stand out. Okay, these are all looking pretty good. Pretty good. Get a couple of these down here. Whoops. Alright, those last two look kind of fakey, so you know why? Because we didn't sample close enough. Our skin texture changed a little bit. Also, our brush is a little large, so I made our brush smaller by using the bracket keys on my keyboard. And again, if you, for some reason, decide I'm just going to jump to the end and watch the beginning to ending retouch, I'm not going to explain every little thing, because for those of you who have been watching, you've seen me do this stuff 100 times. We've done it again and again and again, so I kind of don't want to penalize the people who have actually stuck through the whole class, because it's been a long one, nearly 4 hours, something in that 3.5 to 4 hour range. So if you're like, I'm not sure what he did just there, you can always go back and check it out by watching the whole thing. That's right. Alright, so let me get a little bit more of this here, and we're going to about wrap this up. So we left plenty of freckles and things. We're going to remove that little piercing hole from the ear too there, for the pierced earrings. A little bit here. And let's see what else. We've got a little thing on the lip here. Let's see if we can get rid of that. Yep. Down here. Get rid of these. Moving around. And I'm sampling. Every time you see this little target show up, that means I've sampled a nearby area. Option click. That means I'm holding the Option key on Mac or the Alt key on PC and sampling some new areas just to clean everything up. Sample a new area nearby. It's okay. Now we have a little kind of an anomaly here. This is when we switch to the patch tool, drag around it, move to someplace clean, let go, and it snaps back. So let's grab a couple of more little spots here. And let's see what else we got here. These aren't too bad, but we'll get a couple of little tiny ones here. And this, I know this is taking time, but you know what? This takes time. And I'm not doing it quite to the level of what I would do if this was a paying client. I am kind of giving you the quickie version. I would spend a little more time making sure I got every single one of them. So you can see, oh, we missed one there. Well, yeah, I missed one there. But I would be a little more careful with client work. Still want to work as quick as possible. There's a little something. There's a little something here all together. So let's go to the patch tool and say there's something funky here, and now it's gone. All right. Up in here, there's some looks like redness or something in there. So let's go ahead and kind of deal with that now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the magnetic lasso tool. I'm going to click once, and we're going to kind of go right down this line here. But it doesn't want to go down this line, does it? Let's see if I can lay down some points to help it. There we go, something in that area. See that little kind of like almost like a red patch there. Now we'll get the rubber stamp tool, the clone tool, and let's find a nearby area that has kind of similar. Whoops. There we go. Kind of similar. And you can see we got a little harsh on the edge here, so let's kind of soften that up a bit. See if we can. Let me get a smaller brush. And just kind of, that edge looks a little harsh, and it's getting harsher, isn't it? Probably should have feathered that just a little bit. That's a little bit of a hack job there. I don't have to tell you that, you just saw that. There we go. It's softening up a little better there. There we go. And these stray hairs, we can get rid of those too. There's no sense in having them hang around. And let's just soften this edge a little bit too. This little edge, I really should have put a feather there. It just didn't soften up very. There we go. So I had to kind of go back and do it manually. There's one more thing we need fixed, and I just used the rubber stamp tool, and now it looks bad. So let's go fix that. And everything else is looking pretty good in the skin repair area. So that all looks pretty good. Now, let's go ahead and sharpen at this point. All right. So this is a portrait of a female. Let's go ahead and go to the red channel. Let's apply. We can apply quite a bit of sharpening here. So let's go like 120, 1 and 4. Apply a nice level of crisp sharpening there. And we're back to the RGB image. All right. Alrighty. So now we can apply some skin softening if we'd like, and we can choose whichever method we'd like to choose. Let's go ahead and duplicate the layer. We could use the edit tap trick and look at what the image size is to come up with something. 34 pixels. I think that's a bit much. I'm going to go with something a little bit more like maybe 25 pixels. That's really, even 25 pixels is very, very soft. Hit the letter V to jump to the move tool, and then we're going to drop it to 50%. So now you've got the very, 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 very foggy, soft version of her. We're going to hold the Option key on Mac or the Alt key on PC. Click to add a layer mask. Now the softer version of her is hidden behind the black mask. We're going to come in here now and start painting over this area with a white brush to kind of make it nice and really, really soft. So we'll go ahead and do that. Go ahead and paint in all this area. Something like that. Now it's going to take a minute to paint this all in, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the painting. I could, do a Julia Child and just go, okay, it's all done, and just jump ahead, but nah, let's just stick through it together. It won't take me that long. I'm using a pretty decent sized brush here. And I'm trying to stay away from her lips and all the other detail areas. As I get near those areas, I can switch to a smaller brush. The skin's getting pretty nice and soft there, I'll tell you that. For a very fashiony look, that's getting pretty good. Let's shrink the size of the brush, get in this area a little bit. There we go. Get nice down in there. Paint over that area. Right down in there to soften that up. And then right up top here. All that over there. And right in there. Now let's see what we've missed. You know what the trick, remember the trick is to see what you've missed. Let's go back. Option click on the face. Alt click on PC. There you go. I accidentally hit the wrong key. There we go. So you can see the little areas you might have missed. Right in there. There we go. You can see we did pretty well on the face. And then let's do a little bit of the ears. Actually, I painted over some detail areas, and that's not good. Just a little bit of this ear maybe, and that's plenty. Alright, down here, we got quite a lot to do. Boy, that's some soft skin there. We've put a pretty heavy amount of softening. We can decide later if we want less or more, or how we're going to bring back any texture if we decide to do that. Probably going to break this retouch into 2 separate parts so we don't spend all day here in this one long video. So you notice I'm trying to not touch detail areas there, so there we go. Over the shoulder here, let's make the brush a little bigger because we're going to cover this a little quicker. Really smoothing that skin out nicely. go down in here and see how we're doing there. Not bad. We do have that dress thing to worry about there. We've got a little tiny bit of bra showing, and then an arm thing we need to deal with as well. But we're going to deal with it all because it's our beginning to end retouch. That all looks pretty good. Alright, so I think we're doing pretty good on this skin. Let's back off a little bit and let me just show you the difference. Here's before and after. Before and after. And let's go ahead in here and pick up those areas we missed. Let's option click on the mask, or on PC alt click. You can see exactly where we missed. Pick up those spots. Alright, alt or option click back, and here we are. You can see we've really softened up that skin. So you have to make this decision now. Actually, for this kind of a fashion-looking image, I think that looks pretty good. It's a little porcelain-y. I mean, it's got a little bit of a very super soft porcelain look. You could drop this down to 35%, something like that, and it still looks pretty good. Look, from there to there, still a nice bit of softening. Or you can go up to the 50% and then add some texture and using noise. We'll look at a couple different ways to do that. In the next segment, we're going to pick up this workflow, the same one, in just a moment. I don't want to let this class get too long, so we're going to pause there and pick up on the next lesson. So I'll see you there in just a minute.